Hi everyone, it's Darla from Crafty Yarn Owl. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these dangles. And I'm going to show you different useful items you can add to your dangles, as well as how easily accessible these dangles will be for you. Maybe you're heading out to an appointment and you know you're going to be sitting there quite a while before you get in. And you have some paperwork you need to do. Attach your paper clip dangle. I've put a bigger safety pin there, so you can just hang it on the handle and you have your paper clips handy. If you're heading out on a long car trip, you have a driver, you need to bring along your crochet project you're working on, or maybe you want to grab a new ball of yarn, start something new. Grab your crochet hook, stick it in your bag, and you need some stitch markers to take with you. They hang your stitch marker dangle on your bag with a larger safety pin so you don't have to make any holes in your bag. Just put it around your handle, and they are so handy. There's also safety pins on here in case you need those for something. Of course, you can put all stitch markers. You can make this really long, put a lot of stitch markers on there, or just put a few. You'd like to have some hair clips handy, not only for your hair, but you've thrown an actual yarn ball in your bag. Now, how are you going to secure that end? Well, you have some hair clips right here. They're not only for hair. You can secure that end with a hair clip so it doesn't come unraveled inside your bag. You can make dangles just for simple decoration. This is a junk journal that I'm working on that's based on crochet. So why not have some crochet charms on the dangle and some beads. This will be a spine dangle, and I'm going to simply put a hole at the top, and the dangle will hang down just for a sweet little decoration. How about as a decoration on your zipper? Yep, I'm a crocheter. Not only as fashion or decoration on your jacket zipper, very useful, very handy right here. If you need a stitch marker, oh, right there. How handy is that? Let's make them. I used a 2-weight cotton yarn to make these dangles. You can use any weight you want. You can even use a 4-weight if you like. It doesn't have to be cotton. I'm pretty sure acrylic would work. So this is the Hobie Rainbow 100% natural cotton yarn. It recommends the 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter. This is a 2.5 millimeter hook. Use whatever hook is suited to the size yarn that you're using. So this light pink, if you're curious, is number 93. The purple is 94. This dark red or burgundy is number 86. And the brighter pink is number 62. If you have scrap yarn, grab your scrap yarn. I have the beads and charms laid out on the table in the order I want them to appear on the dangle. I want this one to be at the very end or bottom of the dangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to string them on our yarn in this order. What you want to hang at the bottom of the dangle goes on your yarn first. Leave your yarn attached to your ball. Now I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook. Let's get rid of that noise. Next, I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. Then I'm going to bring up my first bead, or it may be a charm in your case, and I'm going to chain 1 around that bead. I'm holding on to the bottom of my yarn here. I'm not holding on to the bead. And pull it through. And then I'm going to chain 2. Now I'm chaining 2 because that's about the length of my bead. Okay, then I'm going to grab my charm. And now I'm going to hold on to my yarn. I'm going to start with a chain 2. First chain locks the charm into place. That's 1, 2. And then I'm going to hold my charm up because I want to make a chain that is the length of my charm. So that was 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is about the length of this charm. And then I'm going to pull up the next item, which is, in my case, a bead. I'm going to hold on to my yarn, my chain that I made, push that bead down, pull the yarn tight on my hook, as tight as you can get it. And then we're going to chain 1 to hold that bead in place. I'm going to chain 2, which is about the length of that bead, from here and here. The next is a charm. Now this charm has a front and a back. The back is plain and the front, you can see it's a skein of yarn. I want to turn the back towards me. This one here, this measuring tape, is the same on both sides, so it didn't matter which way I held it. I'm going to pull my yarn as tight as I can to move that charm right up to the chain that I'm making. I'm going to chain 1, which locks the charm in place. And then I'm going to make a chain that is the length of this charm. Okay, it's about 5 chains. And then I'm going to bring up my next item, which is a bead. Have my bead right up to under my hook. Chain 1 to lock it in place, and chain 2 more. Then I'm going to go to my next charm, which is this cute pair of glasses. Now I want the back of the glasses facing me. So just turn that around. Bring it right down to under the hook. Okay, it's facing the back to me. Chain 1 to lock it in place. Then I'm going to hold the charm up to make the number of chains I need for the length of the charm. I chained 4. And then we're going to bring up the next item, which is a bead. Put that bead right under the hook. Grab your yarn, pull it through to make a chain to hold that in place, and chain 2. And then we have the final charm. This one doesn't have a back or front, it's the same, so it doesn't matter how it's held. And here we're going to make only 1 chain because I want it to hang freely at the bottom of my dangle. And I'll show you that in a minute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make slip stitches all the way back up my chain in every chain, except the one that's holding the last charm. Keeping your chain straight, slip stitch into each chain. And this is how we end up with our final dangle at the bottom hanging freely. I've made a slip stitch in every chain all the way to the very end. Now I'm going to make a chain 1, and I'm going to cut the yarn. Now I'm going to connect a device. You could use a safety pin. If you have these bulb pins, you could use one of these. They open up the same as a safety pin does. Like that. I'm going to use these bulb pins. Just going to use one. But first, before I connect it, I'm going to sew in the ends up my strand here. I'm just weaving the yarn in and out here under the loops. And then I'm just going back on itself to secure it. And then I'm just cutting off the excess here. And then I'll weave in the other piece of yarn as well. And here's our dangle. Now I'm going to hook on the bulb pin onto the end so that we can put it on a junk journal or the zipper of our jacket, on a bag, wherever you want to put it. And you could use a safety pin here if you don't have any bulb pins. And there it is. Do you want to make another one? Let's make another one. I've chosen a different colored yarn for this one. I have everything laid out the way I want it to appear on my dangle. This will be the very bottom of my dangle, a stitch marker. And then we have a safety pin, stitch marker, safety pin, stitch marker. And then I'm going to use a bulb pin for the attachment device. All right. So I'm going to put everything on my yarn like I did the last time. Now, with these pins, I'm not going to go through that little hole. I'm going to go through the opening with my yarn. Okay, load them all up on your string of yarn. I'm going to leave the bulb pin to attach after I've made my dangle. So we'll make a slip knot, put it on our hook, and I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2. So then the first one will be the stitch marker, and chain 1 to hold it in place. I'm chaining about 4 more here, which is around the length of that stitch marker. If you only do a couple of chains, that's fine too. It just means you won't have as much of a space between your charms or stitch markers or beads. And the next one is our safety pin. Just going to make a chain 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains the length of the safety pin. The next one is going to be a stitch marker. Going to chain 1 to lock it in place. And then I've chained another 4 here. Pull up my next thing, which is the safety pin. Now I don't remember exactly how many chains I made for each of these, but make whatever you like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's not exactly the same as we did before, that's okay. Around the length of your charm is what you want to do. All right, so the last one we have is a stitch marker. So I'm going to do one chain, and then I'm going to put a slip stitch in each of our chains, skipping that first one that's connected to our stitch marker. So go on the next one and do a slip stitch. And a slip stitch in every chain all the way to the very end again, like we did with the other one. Here's our little dangle. I've made a slip stitch right to the very end in each of those chains. So now I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to pull my yarn up so I can cut it and weave it in like we did with the other one. Just gonna put a bulb pin, and then we can connect it to whatever we want to connect it to. Our zipper, our project bag, our purse, zipper on a jacket, whatever you like. Now, how about we make one using paper clips as our charms? All right, let's do it. We're going to string our paper clips onto our yarn. Doesn't really matter. We're going to go through here or over here, just wherever. Put a slip knot on our hook. Then we'll chain 2. Pull up that first paper clip. You can put beads in between these. You can put stitch markers. You can put charms, whatever you want. All right, so we're going to chain 1 to attach it. So for a different look, I think I'm going to chain maybe 3. I'm not going to chain the whole length of that paper clip. 1, 2, 3. So that's about halfway the length of the paper clip. So we'll see how that works out. So that was 3. Remember that, 3. I need to remember. Okay. Next paper clip, chain 1 to hook it in place. 1, 2, 3. Next paper clip, chain 1 to hook it in place, and then chain 1, 2, 3. Next paper clip, chain 1 to lock it in, chain 1, 2, 3. And then the last one, you can make these dangles as short as you want with only 2 beads or 2 paper clips, or you can make them really long if you like by adding more charms or paper clips. All right, chain 1 to lock this paper clip in. All right, we have it locked in. You don't have to end with a paper clip just because you use paper clips all the way down here. You can end with a bead if you like. Whatever you like to hang on the bottom of your dangle is up to you. All right, now I'm going to make slip stitches all the way along this chain, skipping the first one right here. That's where my paper clip is connected. So just make slip stitch like we did before, all the way along our chain. And here's our paper clip dangle. Okay, so chain 1 at the end to finish it off. Pull up your yarn, cut it off, weave it in like we did with the other ones. Okay, I won't do that again on camera. I'm going to hook a safety pin in the end instead of a bulb pin, just for something different. So here we go. If you ever happen to have a paper emergency and you need a paper clip, there you go. They're all attached, and you just remove one like that to use it. If you're like, oh, I want a green one instead, just put this one back on. You don't have to put it back in the exact same spot. Put it wherever you like. But how handy is that? What else can you think of to make into a dangle? Some essentials that you may possibly need while you're out and about. Yeah, let us know in the comments. One more, I'm on a roll. Now this one will be made a little differently. We're going to make our chain first without attaching any of these hair clips. So I'm just going to make a random amount of chains. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How about 14? Okay, then we're going to make a slip stitch row into every chain, but not that first one. We're going to skip that one. Okay, slip stitch into every chain. All right, so I'm right at the very end. Chain 1. Pull up my yarn, cut it. I'm going to weave the ends in. Now I'm going to attach the hair clips. Now the reason I didn't crochet the clips on is I'd have to go through the space here or the space in the back, which means I wouldn't be able to get the hair clips off my dangle. So I have to add them now. Yeah. So I'm going to put this on the end one. Like that. And now they're attached like this, so we can get them off if we need them. And there we have it. We have made 4 dangles today. You can remove your paper clips from this one if you have a paper emergency. You have stitch markers, safety pins, in case you have a yarn emergency or a crochet emergency, or your zipper is broken emergency. And then we have these hair clips for when you have a ball emergency that's going to come unraveled in your bag as you're traveling or sitting in the doctor's office. Or a hair emergency, of course. What objects can you think of to connect to dangles and hang on your bag for the ready? Let us know in the comments. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video and for commenting, subscribing, liking, and sharing. There will be some more tutorials linked at the end of this video and also in the description box if you'd like to check those out. Thank you and have a wonderful day.